Hello, this is Adam Jr. at Systematic Front, and this is going to be a look at how to use halfback screen in Madden NFL Mobile. Halfback screen is really an underrated play. It is extremely effective in either head-to-head or LVLs, though I will say that it probably works a little bit better against 4-3 defenses than it does 3-4s. So first, let's look at it against 4-3 defenses. The first thing that you want to do is flip the play so that the halfback route is actually to the quarterback's left. From there, you're going to be keeping an eye on the left outside linebacker who's on the defense's right. And if he is in a medium zone coverage, then you'll be able to hit your slot receiver for about 20 yards once he gets into a pocket of space between that left outside linebacker and then the strong safety, whoever's playing that deep zone. It's not quite as common, but you can also see a medium zone coverage from the defensive end, in which case you would still be hitting the slot receiver. Outside of that, if the slot receiver isn't against a medium zone coverage, you're going to be throwing it to the halfback. So if the left outside linebacker is in a deep zone coverage, for example, then you're going to be backpedaling backwards towards the right, just to get as much space between the current ball carrier and the halfback where the ball is going as possible. And then once you're out of time or out of space, go ahead and zip the ball to the halfback, and it's just a matter of making something happen. Same is true for man coverage, which is always you can identify, sometimes you can identify pre-snap if the safety drops to the line of scrimmage. But if it's man coverage, go ahead and roll out to the right and then zip it to the halfback, and then really just moving around and picking up blocks any way that you can creatively and just keep moving the ball forward as much as possible is basically going to be the name of the game. I'll also say that if you get blitzed, blitzes are typically going to be the man coverage as well, but either way, you're really just going to have time to zip it to the halfback and just try to make something work. Playing 3-4 defenses, you're going to be looking for the same sort of coverages. So if the left outside linebacker is in a medium zone coverage, then you'll go ahead and hit the slot receiver once he's behind the left outside linebacker, but still in front of the strong safety. The reason I like to say that halfback screen is better against 4-3s than 3-4s is simply because you're not going to be seeing the zone coverage quite as much, which means you're going to be relying more heavily on the halfback route, which while it works, if you cannot start a play by throwing the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that will usually get you a generally better result. That being said, if the left outside linebacker is in a deep zone or a man coverage, it's actually going to look the same either way, but that's okay because either way you're going to be throwing it to the halfback in those cases. But the left outside linebacker, he will start lined up directly over the slot receiver, and then you'll just see him backpedal for good to 10-15 yards. If he maintains that backpedal, that's going to be a zone coverage, or if you see him turn around once the slot gets behind him and continue to chase after the slot receiver, that's going to be a man coverage, but honestly at that point in time you should have already looked away and just got set up to make the halfback throw. Next up, there's dime coverage. Dime coverage is going to be pretty similar to what we've already talked about. If you read a medium zone coverage against the slot receiver, then you'll go ahead and throw him the ball once he's between the left outside linebacker and the strong safety. Otherwise, if it's a man coverage or maybe even a deep zone coverage, you'll go ahead and hit the halfback and just try to pick up some yardage. I will say that man coverage is going to be a lot more common against dime, and so since you're likely to have to check it down to the halfback, and because dime you're typically going to see are 3rd and 4th and long situations, I really wouldn't call halfback screen on 3rd and 4th and long. I'd go with a play that has a bit more upside where you're not throwing it behind the line of scrimmage to pick up the ball. It can work in those situations, but typically there's going to be better options. Finally, there's nickel formation. Nickel formation is the counter for a halfback screen, but if it's not countered and you get that medium zone coverage against the slot receiver, once again you'll be able to hit the slot for a pretty decent gain. If it is countered, however, or if you're facing a man coverage, then just as soon as you can control the quarterback, go ahead and throw the ball to the halfback, and you'll be able to get a pretty decent gain out of it. Against critical counters, you're still actually able to get a pass off most of the time to the halfback, and sometimes it'll be for lost yardage, other times you'll be able to get a gain, but being able to move the ball at least semi-effectively against a critical counter is pretty unique at this stage in the game, so that makes halfback screen a pretty powerful play. If there is a high snap, though, against a critical counter, then you should probably just count on being sacked. So that's how you use halfback screen in Madden NFL Mobile. I'm sorry that there hasn't been a video in a while. I'll try to be a little bit more on the ball there, but feel free to still comment, like, or subscribe, whatever you want to do, and hope that helps, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.